Police chiefs are not elected, but sheriffs are. Half the states elect judges, and every state but 3 elects the district attorneys there, and that includes California. And that may or may not pose a big problem for Lyle and Eric Menendez. This time last week, Lyle and Eric were so close to freedom they could taste it. The Los Angeles DA, George Gascón, had publicly endorsed no fewer than 4 different pathways for the brothers to leave prison after 3 decades of serving life no parole. He backed their habeas petition, claiming new exculpatory evidence. He supported resentencing the brothers to life with parole or downgrading their convictions from first-degree murder to manslaughter. He even wrote letters to California's governor supporting all-out clemency. But then the election happened, and George Gascón lost. His successor is Nathan Hochman, who takes office in less than a month, but says he needs more time to study the Menendez case. And the newly elected DA, Nathan Hochman, is live with me now. Welcome back. It's nice to have you back, and I guess congratulations are due. What a difference a week can make.
What a difference. Thank you for having me on.
It's good to have you. You got a lot ahead of you, a ton. I'm curious about the level of priority that the Menendez case takes.
So the Menendez case, like any case of a similar nature, will take a high priority because I owe it to the Menendezes, the victim family members, the public, to as expeditiously as possible review and do a thorough review of the facts and the law in this particular case. As we discussed before, that will involve reviewing thousands of pages of confidential prison files that are not accessible to me at this point. The trial transcripts for 2 months-long trials. I'll need to speak to the prosecutors, the law enforcement officers, defense counsel, the victim family members, review the voluminous exhibits, and at that point, go ahead and figure out what the position should be going forward. And again, the Menendezes deserve a DA actually doing their job so that there's no cloud of credibility over a decision. When you had the prior DA make that decision 12 days before an election, when he could have made that decision 8 to 16 months before or just after the election, it put a cloud of credibility over whether or not it was the just decision or just a political ploy for a guy 30 points down that had run out of money for his media campaign.
I hear you there. I also, listen, I don't know your business, but I do know that there is a whole swath of assistant DAs that all worked on that case as well, many of them nonpartisan, many of them who would not support the position that their boss took. So should there be such duplication of service, number one, when all the soldiers already did a ton of the work? And number two, I'm not a lawyer, and I feel like I know the whole case. What more could there possibly be, Mr. Hochman, to find out reviewing all the files?
So though you're not a lawyer, or even if you were a lawyer, you have not had access to thousands of pages of confidential prison files. I would doubt you've actually reviewed the transcripts of the 2 months-long trials that probably range in the thousands of pages. So you might have seen the Netflix special, you might have seen a documentary, you might think you actually know something about the case. But if you actually want to know and do a thorough review of the facts and the law to know something about the case to the point where you can defend that decision in court, you got to do the hard work. And if you've already done the hard work, that's impressive because you've got access to stuff that no one in the public should have access to. But if this case does land on my desk, and you pointed out there are 2 other ways that it actually might not end in my desk. That habeas petition has a court hearing the week of November 25th, and the governor at any point can grant clemency. And there's a chance that when I come into office on December 2nd, the case is already resolved. But if it's not resolved, that I will perform that thorough review on this case, and quite honestly, every case that a case like this deserves. And if I need some additional time, there will not be delay for delay's sake. I have 34 years of criminal justice experience. I've been involved in hundreds of cases as a defense counsel and a prosecutor. I know how to expeditiously review a record, and I will do so in this case.
I think you might.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.